Jaxler. Over to you, Jaxler. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jaxler, and this is Mushroom Men: The Spore Wars for the Nintendo Wii. I am joined by two of my friends, Shasta and Wojo. How are you? And also, what is your knowledge on mushrooms, men, and also mushroom men?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm tired this morning, but I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
I played the DS version of this game. It came out the exact same day. I don't like it. This game's cool, though.
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty all right. I know way more about both of the formers than I do the latter.
I see. All right, so we're going to do an 80% run, so just getting to the final boss and beating the game as fast as possible. Time is going to begin as soon as we select yes, so assuming that we're good to go, we'll go ahead and count from 3 and start from go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, welcome to Mushroom Men. So this is a 3D action adventure game that's like, it's like really unique, like aesthetic wise. Like I like to call it like Chibi Robo, but it like got left in the dirt is kind of the way I describe it, because it's like really grungy and like earth reclaiming, like old like industrial and like human waste essentially. And you play as a little mushroom guy named Pax. He is a bolette mushroom, and essentially the lore of the game is that meteorites fell out of the sky, which essentially gave humanoid forms and life to a bunch of different mushroom species. And because they don't know how to handle that, because they just discovered what consciousness is, they get into fights a lot, hence the name The Spore Wars, right? Yeah. So we are specifically a bolette. I believe we are the last of our kind because like mushroom politics and stuff like that, right? And so our goal is to sort of we have like a really unique power that we don't understand, which is the ability to absorb said meteorites. And so our goal is to figure out what to do with that and also figure out what happened to our people. So the really nice thing about the tutorial level is you can just skip it, and it gives you all the stuff that you would collect along the way for the tutorial. So it gives you your first weapon as well as the meteorite chunk you would normally get, just allowing you to skip that whole bit, which is really, really nice, because otherwise it's a very like sleeper segment. I'm going to be so real. But first major level here is Dial M for Morel. This is going to be like an underground like mineshaft segment, and this is where we're going to get introduced to our primary form of movement tech, which is called roll cancel jumps. And so essentially you have like this dodge roll that you can use in order to like avoid enemy attacks, because this game is really combat heavy. And if you cancel that into a jump, it allows you, if you do it with the right timing, you get crazy height and distance. We also get to see Spore power and one of my favorite video game abilities ever, Spore Kinesis. So you basically, with the Wii pointer, get like the equivalent of like that like Half-Life 2 like gravity gun effect. So nice, I hit that one. That's a really annoying roll jump right there. And then with those specific wooden boards, I make sure that I do the Spore Kinesis from far enough away, because it'll spawn a dialogue box. But luckily enough, the game is smart enough to be like, hey, if you figured out how to do it already, we're not going to patronize you by pulling up that tutorial box, which I really mess with. That's really nice. So there's some moving pistons in the next room, so I'm going to try to make this cycle. I'm going to be short. Okay, so we're going to have to take the backup cycle here. So, so with the roll jumps especially, there's a timing to it. So with the perfect timing, you get like a ton of speed and distance. Like that one was really good. But if you're too early or too late, you can actually get shorter variations of these roll jumps. Sometimes that's good because it allows you for some finer control over jump spacing. But otherwise, like you want to try to maximize that roll distance. And it's not like it's like a timing thing. It's just like something you have to learn to do as like a fundamentals check. So I'm going to go a little risky here, so you can. Oh, okay, that was fine. I was gonna go for a roll jump out of that, which is like really risky, but the game just said no. So that minecart would have insta-killed me if I messed that roll jump up. So hence the hesitation just a little bit here. But we're gonna be doing our first major skip of the run, which is going to cut out several rooms in the mine shaft here. We're gonna use Spore Kinesis to pick up this Larvaline canteen over here, and we're going to set it down on the side of this slope so that hopefully it starts going up at just the right angle that lets me get up here. Nice. And so that, I want to say that saves about 30 to 45 seconds and a couple of fights. And then right there, there's an invisible wall where it only deloads once you've finished the fight. But the game set the trigger to finishing that fight with the last rat. So we grab one of the baseballs there with Spore Kinesis and just yeet it at the mole rat, and he just dies instantly, and it just lets us skip the whole fight, essentially. Yeah, I got a couple more roll jumps here. There's a minecart in here that will insta-kill me if I have a bad roll jump. That was a really good roll jump. So, and that's the end of Dial M for Morel. So we got a boss level after here, but honestly, one of my favorite roll cancel jump movement sections in the entire game, just because one of the things that's hard with it too is that attempting to do roll jumps when you're going uphill will generally cause you to not get your full speed potential, and there's a lot of little things in the game's geometry that count as slopes. So there's a lot of game knowledge that you have to have about some of the polygons and where they're placed in order to optimize your roll jump movement. All right, so this is Old King Mo. We're gonna start out here by taking care of these little mole rats, and then we're gonna hit some nails. Oh, that was pretty good. So something I'm doing there, and we'll see it a lot more later once we start upgrading our hammer, is something called, oh my god, I just got sent flying, that's funny. I don't have a way of canceling out of that damage animation yet. But essentially what we're doing is we're doing the jump attack, right? And then as soon as we land, we're inputting a roll, which allows us to cancel the attack animation early, which you otherwise normally can't, I believe. Dark Teryx will probably yell at me if I'm wrong about that later. But essentially that allows us to spam the jump attack, and on the hammers specifically, it has this really unique property where it can do multi-hits with the shockwave hitbox, and it lets us just melt enemies. It makes the combat a lot more doable in this game. And so we are going to get one of my favorite things in the game, which is the sticky hand. This allows you to basically have a Zelda hook shot. There's a bunch of different things. It likes to use these I voted pins and stickers and stuff. But I'm going to go for an angled shot here. Oh, and I had it, and then I just... Oh, you're going to be in my way now. That's really rude. There we go. Okay, that's a pretty tight angle right there, and there's going to be a couple of sticky hand shots like that throughout the run where it's camera angle and also where I place it on screen matters too. So I'm doing a lot of this with the pointer as well, and this game's pointer sensitivity is really, really finicky. So you have to be there's no wiggle room. So if it goes off and then goes on, and then you press B during that time, it's just nope, and you're not allowed to grapple, and it's really annoying. So. Next, we are heading into Kudzu Request. So the way this level is set up is there are 5 different rabbits that you need to take care of because they're feeding on a friend called the Kudzu, which is this alien plant growth hive mind monster who's kind of our main ally, in addition to some of the other mushroom tribes as well. And so freeing him here, he'll continue to help us with the rest of the game. We're going to do a really funny camera trick on this first bunny here, where each of these bunnies, you can try to melee them. It is a fruitless effort, but you can try. But there's also some sort of environmental hazard that you can use to take care of each one of these. And the range for the pointer is based on where the camera is, not based on where PAX is on screen. So as a result, right after that cutscene is skipped, I can just move my cursor to the right and just drop the fan on that first bunny right there, and it saves a good bit of time. And then you're intended to get a lot more height to reach some of these interactables that defeat the rabbits here, but a general theme with this game is they made a lot of the Will of Spore triggers way too generous. So that one there's a whole platforming section you're supposed to do. You can just reach it down from floor level. It's really funny. Same with this shovel here. I'm actually going to kind of wait a little bit just in case, because if you try to drop the shovel too quickly after this rabbit spawns in, then it will just miss the rabbit, and then you are forced to melee him. And it's awful, and you really didn't want to see that. So luckily that didn't happen. I'm also a little low HP, so this spider might give me an attitude. He did not, but we'll see on the way back. Just got to backtrack here real quick, and then... that one's really annoying because there are 2 grabbable surfaces between the Will of the Spore trigger that I need there, so it's really annoying there sometimes, but yeah, just a couple more roll jumps here, and we're going to just make our way through. Just give me 1 second to... I got to lock in a little more. So that was these are the max speed roll jumps. If you nail it perfectly, you just go flying, and it is so fun. The movement tech and the fundamental strats of the game are relatively simple to understand. It's just applications of them all throughout the course of the game, and it's really fun to do them too. So yeah, we got a bit of a boss fight here. So the way this is going to work is it's going to chuck an apple core at us, which we are going... Oh, I'll just wait on the other one. So again, the pointer controls are really precise, and you really want to pick it up as it's at the top of the screen. And then we're going to go in here, hit him. We're going to do this 4 times, and then between each of these phases, he's going to have an attack he wants to wind up, so I'm going to roll forward and then back to sort of bait him into a defensive pose so that we kind of skip it. And then each time we do a phase, okay, we actually cut that one. The music's going to get progressively more and more hype. Shasta, do you want to talk about like who did the music for this game, actually?
Yeah, I've been waiting it the whole time.
It's hard. Mushroom Man goes hard.
Yeah, so if you're familiar with Primus, Les Claypool from Primus did the music for this game.
Yes.
What?
Yeah,
yes. That's real. That's real. It's wild.
And because of that, it is really easy to get your PB demonetized or like copyright ID'd. Usually, like I think Les Claypool is pretty cool about it, where it's like not usually like fought over, but it's like really funny.
Yeah, it's very basic soundtrack. So like now that you know that, that's
yeah,
why.
like this last like iteration of it, like this also just goes so hard to like. There we go. Okay, nice. So I'm gonna go to the left instead because it'll just kind of after this cutscene, it'll just kind of leave me wherever I'm at after the boss, and we can just roll into the portal over there. So that was the Jackalope fight. So that went pretty well. I was having an issue. Thank you. I was having an issue in practice that I had never seen before, where I was like throwing the apple core and it was like going between his legs and just clipped through his hitbox, and I had to wait for more apple cores. It happened like 4 times. I was so mad, but we got this cute little walking animation, and then we're coming into. So it's probably the most punishing level to learn when you're learning the Mushroom Man speedrun. Yeah, we're going into that level now, right? Yep. Okay, definitely. So there's a couple of things that we need to do along the way as well. We need to pick up something called scav, which are these little bits of like reclaimed junk that you can use to craft weapons. Weapon crafting is super important for this route because it massively increases our DPS. We have the weakest weapon in the game, and that's doing us okay for now, but we're going to need to upgrade that later on. So we're going to start the level by immediately turning around and grabbing this rabbit's foot. This is going to be part of the like mid-tier hammer upgrade that we're going to equip. And then I'm going to go for a really tricky strat here called nail jump. I think I have this. Okay, we got there. Nice, nice. So there are a ton of enemies right there that home in on you like crazy people. And so you basically get one shot at that before they start murdering you for life. So if you don't get that first try, you have to like go back and remanipulate them so you can attempt that. And that skips like some of the most annoying enemies in the game. And speaking of annoying enemies, we're going to skip a couple more here. There we go. Okay, it almost didn't give it to me there. But essentially I'm doing a roll jump into a wall to get me a little bit of extra height, and then kind of mashing the hover button so that it kind of just gets me a little bit over the edge to skip over the invisible wall. And then similar to with like the rabbits earlier, we're going to do a secret method of taking out the boss here in order to get by. That also gets you a meteorite chunk. But again, this isn't any percent run. We're not 100%ing the game, so we don't need to worry about that too much. And then coming up here in a bit, we have the only instance of out of bounds in this run. Just based on the vibes of this game, I think most people would assume that this is like a really out of bounds heavy game. But this is like the only one that I know of. There might be like 1 or 2 more potentially, but not used in the speedrun at the very least. Yeah, so they just left a hole in this wall, so you can just walk right through.
Oh.
And so we're going to go all the way around. So this like radio station section is like some of like the most annoying puzzle stuff in the entire game. It takes frickin' forever. And so we just completely bypass that. So we grab Scav from Out of Bounds to assemble Lucky Harm, as opposed to Lucky Charm, which is a great weapon name. And then also the Safety Stabber. So that's an upgrade on the first weapon that we got. That's a different weapon type called Stabbing Weapon. And so stabbing weapons allow you to do an aerial thrust attack, which is going to have some really nice movement utility. So we're going to do one right there and then go through that wall, go back and bounce, and that's going to skip that entire last portion of the level. So, again, that normally takes that's like a 20 to 30-minute section in of itself, assuming, like, you kind of understand how the puzzle works. So scaling the mountain's also a pretty long segment that we're going to kind of cheese via Spore Kinesis triggers being too big. So we're going to go into the back here, and I'm going to do a pretty tight grapple. There's some enemies in route. Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm going to get off to the side here. That's way too low. Maybe I can save it. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is, so the enemies don't ruin my life, I'm going to just go down here. And so you want to try to aim for, like, the top of the sink bowl there because it's curved in such a way. Basically, whenever you're, like, trying to, like, glide anywhere, if you, like, bonk into a wall or a ceiling, it just cancels your glide for you, and if you're not prepared for it, it's really brutal to deal with. So again, another one of those like Spore Kinesis triggers that's just like really, really big, and they like tried to accommodate for that via the way they set up like the level design there, but there's some cheeky camera angles that you can get that allow you to completely bypass that. And so we're going to make use of some of these stabs as well as just kind of ways to extend our movement a little bit, especially through these sections, which are really annoying to deal with because of like these enemies here. So especially like this set over here. I'm at like no HP as well. Don't hit me? Okay, cool. I should be fine for the boss fight here, and we're going to swap back to Lucky Harm before I forget. All right, this is the Possum boss. The way it works is there's these acorns that we can throw with Spore Kinesis at the top of the screen, and there's a couple of different places the Possum can appear from, either bottom side left or right or top side left or right. We want to say bottom side, either side is good, because it's a bit of a longer animation for the Possum to become vulnerable when it's coming from like the top side. So we also got a really quick, yeah, and also, ooh, oh my god, I can't believe I lived that. That's like, okay, there we go. So he's giving us a couple of those, and there we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the really annoying thing with that fight and the previous one as well, 100%, is in order to get the collectible there for 100%, you need to beat the boss without dying. Which, if you die there, like that, you have to reset the level, and it's really brutal. All right, so I believe now we are heading into the Mighty Morals. Fun fact, world record holder of this game, Tarkteryx, has this level named in his splits, delete this level. And you're going to see why right at the start. There is going to be a sliding tile puzzle I have to do that is going to give me a repetitive stress injury. So while I'm working on that, if our lovely host would like to step in and read any messages for us, now would be a great time.
Excellent. Well, we do have a $20 donation from MTG Joe D.
Yeah.
Yo!
The best part of waking up is Mushroom Men in your cup. Heck yeah, Midwest Speedfest. Heck yeah, Jaxler. And heck yeah, P-Fund Foundation.
Thank you so much. MT Joe D is an awesome human being.
Seconded.
Yes. All right, you have time for a couple more.
Those are all the donations we have right now.
Gotcha.
So do not forget to donate. Go to donate.midwestspeedfest.com or type !donate in the chat to support the P-Fund Foundation's Transcend campaign.
I like slightly messed up how I normally do this puzzle. So this is getting, oh, I put this up here. Okay. I thought I like turbo beefed this for a second.
No, you're good. Save
Yeah,
it.
so I saved it there. But yeah, we mentioned earlier that like a lot of like the Spore Kinesis triggers are very, very precise, and it requires your cursor to like really be there. If it's even like a frame where it's not in the spot where it wants it to be, then it just won't activate. And nowhere is that more frustrating than on that puzzle right there, because in order to move it around with Spore Kinesis, you have to like click on the tile that you want to move, and then you click on the spot that you want to move it to. So we're going to go ahead and start the generator here, and this is also a very combat-heavy level, so this is where upgrading to Lucky Harm is really going to come into play. These Amanitas that we're going to see, these are, you know, part of the Spore Wars. You know, they're, for right now, they're kind of, oh, and I swapped weapons. Oops. So using that jump attack and the upgrades, this is going to allow us to take care of the enemies a lot faster. And then I'm also doing something here called Will of the Spore on these enemies to kill them a bit faster. Once you see like kind of that green particle effect on an enemy when it's at low HP, if you point your cursor on them and press the B button, it will basically prime them to explode. If you and spend like a Spore meter resource essentially. Your Spore Kinesis also uses that as well. So you have to be kind of, it's a resource thing that used to matter a lot more before the weapon route changes. Oh, I don't have enough to rock it. That's a little annoying. There we go. All right, so we got really good patterns there. Sometimes an enemy or two will get stuck on this other side of the room, and it's like the most annoying thing in the world to try to track them down because they can kind of blend in sometimes. And so now we're just going to be kind of going between hallways a little bit, just like activating switches so we can get to areas. Like this whole area is like this big like siege engine sort of thing. It's like the big like place of operations for the Morels, and it is under siege, so we need to like activate defenses and do all sorts of kinds of stuff, which means there are a ton of Spore Kinesis triggers that we need to hit. And I told you earlier about how annoying Spore Kinesis triggers can be sometimes, so It's a level that I hated when I started learning this game, but I've come to kind of appreciate over the course of the game as a result, because it just demands really good movement fundamentals, and when it all comes together, it's actually pretty fun to like move through this level. So we're gonna hit these two. I'm gonna kind of roll jump after I activate something. It's kind of like when you're playing like 8-ball with your friends, where like you might get a ball in and do what you want to do, but you want to make sure that you like leave the cue ball on what's called a good leave, so that it's in a good position, so that when you make your next shot, it's in just the right spot, so you can make another ball sink into the pocket, right? Similar kind of concept with how I'm setting up some of these roll jumps as well. So got a bit of a little dicey fight for this first bit here. I might die here. Yep, I definitely died here. These enemies are evil. This segment used to take like 8 minutes, and it's like we managed to save like a minute or two just on this level alone. The other thing too is if I activate the Will of the Spore explosion, I'm going to go ahead and try to keep the enemies close together, because there's a huge explosion that happens as well when you trigger that. Alright, so I'm going to trigger that, and I'm going to try to... Oh, it didn't give me the... I was trying to do like the cool guys don't look at explosions thing, and just grapple out of there as that text box trigger came up, but... Yeah, so we're just going to be kind of schmooving here for a little bit. So, Wojo, you've never seen this game before, so what are your thoughts on it so far?
I am shocked by it, honestly. You mentioned that it was like, you described it as Chibi Robo, but in the dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I am definitely seeing that. There were some Watership Down sort of vibes at the front.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
actually...
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
even think about it like that. That's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah. Just like, we breezed past them up, but those were some gruesome rabbit deaths.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were able to skip the cutscenes, luckily. Otherwise, it'd be pretty rough for our animal-loving friends out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and just like you feel like even over there to our right, like the thing you use to fill your health back up, as like a safety thing, is just a dead rat that is infected with like the meteorite juices. I don't know what it's actually called, but I'm just gonna call it meteorite juices.
I don't know what it is either, actually.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, so now we need to like go back and hit all the switches that we just opened, which is really annoying. So, but these are also kind of like where you get to really express yourself in the movement, because again, with that kind of concept I mentioned with like the billiard balls, like you want to like roll jump in such a way that'll give you a good camera angle. Oh my God, pointer, please, please. Okay. It's worth noting as well, the sticky hand shoots out kind of like in a straight line. If it collides with something on the way there, it just will not activate the grapple, kind of to prevent you from cheesing. Okay, got that one quickly now. And something I'm doing as well is, as soon as I like get high enough, I'm pressing B to cancel out of the grapple early, so that I can like land and start doing roll jumps. Otherwise, you are forced into a really long jumping animation. Let's see if I can get this to go off. Oh, that's my... See, the annoying thing sometimes is that the particle effect that plays when they're ready to be popped with the explosion is the same one as you when you're low HP. And they can also, like, pick... Oh, he's here. Okay. They can also pick up health on the ground, which is really, like, messed up, honestly. Yeah, so, like, the AI, for example, like, when they're low HP, they'll, like, try to run away and heal, which is... It's kind of interesting. Like, the AI is actually pretty smart. Which you wouldn't really expect from a game called Mushroom Men: The Spore Wars for the Nintendo Wii, but here we are. Something to mention, especially with this level as well, is we're playing on a backwards compatible Wii U, and the reason for that is it saves about 1 second per load over the course of the run, but it also drastically improves like the frame rate in some of the really choppy areas. Like, I used to run this on Wii up until very recently because I bricked my virtual Wii on my Wii U when I was trying to soft mod it. Did you know it is very easy to mod your Wii? And so, like, as a result, like, I didn't play on it for a bit, and now that I'm playing on it, it's like, God, this game has just got, like, so much better quality of life. So this is an auto-scroller. I literally just sit here and do nothing because we don't need a collectible here, so we're just going to be chilling here for a bit. So, again, if you have any messages you'd like to read, now would be a great time.
All right, just pulling up here, seeing what we have. Alright, still no donations, but want to give one more reminder that we have our $100 incentive for our upcoming run in a few hours, so make sure to donate for the any % burst incentive for Uncanny Cat Golf. We are still $50 away from reaching that incentive.
Yeah.
So
Please get that met. I believe that's like 1 or 2 runs after this, and I've seen this run before. It is very funny.
It's very funny.
It's so funny. You want to get that incentive met.
We were on Games Committee for this. It's very funny. Trust me. Get that met.
Yeah, as you can see, I have to go for a like really long range grapple here. Oh, and I got the bad hitbox. Okay, so I'm gonna have to like go back here and grapple instead. So sometimes with this grapple point in particular, you want to get the stick like that so you can like jump up here and then do a roll cancel jump to get up to here. But sometimes you can hit the hitbox in such a way that it cancels you out, which sometimes is really nice because it lets you get down to the ground faster and lets you avoid jumping, which is what I'm trying to avoid whenever I'm like pressing B early. But that's the one spot where I really didn't want that to happen. Okay, so we're hitting Showdown in Shiitake Town. So we're getting introduced to the Shiitake tribe, which are kind of like this neutral / reclusive group. And so in order to get their help to like figure out where to go for like the meteorites and stuff like that, because lore, we need to challenge a bunch of different masters of different like elements in hand-to-hand combat. And so what we're going to, we have a couple of different, this first one just kind of acts like any other enemy. So we're just going to, if I space my ground slams correctly, it puts them into the animation and it prevents them from moving. Otherwise, he likes to like do side flips around and it looks kind of swag, but it's not swag in terms of time save, right? So, so there's actually like this level is like a big circle essentially. Can I get the honey jar, please? Thank you. So this guy is like really annoying to deal with and has like really high damage moves. So I'm just going to play it like a coward and just hit him with Spore Kinesis. He's being like really aggro. That's really rude. This is fine though because it'll give me a good camera angle once I get back in here and let me set up for again. Usually when you hit him with the honey jar, it causes him to go further back into the arena. But it took me a second to get the honey jar, so it like kind of messed up the minute. There we go. Okay, so he's taken care of now. The most annoying one is actually the one coming up after this, which is the Forest Shiitake Masters. And they go up on bamboo shoots, and they are the worst. Well, first of all, there's 2 of them. And they like to like, they're like the smallest as well, so their hitboxes are really hard to hit. And they'll like disappear, and you have to figure out which like bamboo stock they're on and break it with your weapon. And they are very thin bamboo stocks. So as a result, the hitboxes are horrible. So I mentioned earlier that the level is kind of in a circle. So depending on the direction you go, it makes one boss easier and one boss harder. So we actually route it to do the Earth Shiitake first because it allows us to drain the water and allow us to go for a really, if the RNG allows us, for a really quick kill on the water Shiitake, which is otherwise like one of the more annoying ones. Still, nothing holds a candle to these Forest Shiitake. This is where most runs go to die. In terms of like you can obviously like your run won't actually like die. You can complete the run, but it's going to emotionally feel devastating. So yeah, we got to break these bamboo shoots. I said shoots. Let's be clear.
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Sodium chloride. Oh, we got
dude.
both down. Okay, so this is like, okay, so they split, but we got basically if you can get them together, so you can hit them basically with 2 jump attacks in a row. So he's gonna disappear, and I'll know when they're defeated because they drop something called a Shiitake armband, and we need to get all 5 Shiitake armbands in order to trigger the end of the level. And something really annoying that the enemies here will do as well is, like, if they're low HP, they will actually go to the health reset point. So there's our first one. And where did he go? Oh, he disappeared. Dang it. Yeah, you can't actually prevent them from, like, going up the bamboo shoots. So, okay, so he's back down, so. Got him. Okay, cool. That was like a pretty decent Forest Shiitake. If he left, I was going to cry. But that's just how that goes sometimes. And so because we're going to be draining the water here in a moment, it's going to be allowing us to do a really cool quick cycle on the water Shiitake. So I mentioned earlier how every time I do a jump attack slam with this hammer weapon, I do a roll and then a jump to kind of cancel the ending lag. In water, you can just jump out of there without having to do the roll input, so you can kind of cycle through the jump attacks way faster. So it's really, really fun. Okay, and he's staying in the water too, so So I just do this, and it's like he just can't move. Bro is so unaware.
Stun lock.
All right, there we go. That's probably the best showdown in Shiitake Town that I've had this week. It's a really rough level, and also another one where being on Wii U really helps for some of the frame rate issues, especially in that like 4. That's the other reason why the 4 Shiitake are so awful, is because it lags there so bad because of all like the bamboo shoot actors that get spawned, and there's like a projectile attack, which is even more actors on screen. It's just the worst. So this is Giants of the Inner Sanctum. This is one of the higher skill ceiling levels in the run. There's like a lot of crazy movement stuff going on here. The way that this level is set up is there is a creature known as Cactus, and he is like so Omega busted like strength and lore wise that they basically like severed his limbs off and trapped his limbs in 2 separate cages because because the limbs are also sentient. Yeah, this is almost kind of like we're in like a mole tunnel system / like an anthill sort of thing, which I think is really neat. So there's going to be 2 kind of branching paths here. So I think we're going to get I think Mr. Right first, and then Mr. Left. Their names are Mr. Left and Mr. Right, by the way, which I have no idea why. It doesn't. His name is Cactus. Like, there's such a tonal dissonance with that name there, but. So I'm specifically equipping the safety stabber here, not only because sometimes it's really nice for stabbing past some of the enemies, but it's also going to have it as like my last used weapon. We're actually going to be getting our next hammer upgrade here. This is a new development from Dark Teryx for getting some of the late game hammers. So there's 2 pieces of scav here very conveniently for us. The board game figurine as well as the pipe, which is, oh, wrong button. Which is going to allow us to make, what is it called again? Oh, Beat 'em Down, Scotty. That's a great name.
Incredible.
But I'm also making sure to swap back to the safety stabber because I'm going to be using it for a trick here that's really annoying, but it's pretty hype if I get it. There's going to be a bunch of walls that come down, and you're intended to use the sticky hand zip in order to get around and beat the clock. But instead what you can do is a roll jump to get up here. I bonked my head on the ceiling. Let me try it again. All right, hold on. This one's really funky sometimes, so... okay, I'm going to try it with another... okay, so I got over it, so we're just going to bail. We're going to just do some roll jumps instead. I should still make time for the cycle. I will be a little embarrassed if I don't, but that's okay. It's really, really annoying. I think world record only gets the first part of it, but essentially you get up on top of those walls, and then if you walk off with your coyote time and then do a dashing thrust attack with a jump thrust essentially, that allows you to get over the walls and skip the switchbacks essentially. And then this one's pretty easy because we only need to activate this one, and we have a really long roll jump that's just going to get us right through the door. Gonna unlock him, please, thank you. Again, the hitboxes on those are really rough for the pointer specifically, so that's Mr. Right taken care of. Now we're gonna go and take care of Mr. Left. Mr. Left is mostly a platforming segment here, so not there's actually something new I'm gonna try to go for as well. That's kind of a bit of a weird geometry abuse. It's really tricky, but I kind of just like it better than the old way, which was just kind of playing it mostly normal with a shortcut here and there. But we'll see how that goes. So once we get in there, I'll kind of, okay, I'm going to focus here for a second because, yeah, it's, so easy to slip between the cracks here in this room specifically. I have no idea why I have, such a bad mental block with this room, but that wasn't too horrible. Yeah, a couple more roll jumps here, and then I'm going to kind of try to lock in for this skip. We're going to try to climb some walls instead of going through that passageway that the game just showed us here. So this is a tricky one. Okay, so we got that tiny little bit of ledge right there, and then I need, yeah, see, it's really easy to slip off if you accidentally bonk mid-glide. Okay, not too bad. And then this is the tricky one. Good, okay, so that's the strat. So that gets us just right to the end of that platforming section, skipping most of the area there. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then the other thing with this bit is there's this Spore kinesis puzzle where you're supposed to put these lids on these jars in order to create a platform. You're supposed to do both, but if you just do the light gray one, you can roll jump to it, and then that's enough to just get you in the door, and then you can peek your head out and flip the switch from the side here, and that's going to free Mr. Left. And then now we just need to make our way back to that center bit to watch a cutscene where Cactus goes Super Saiyan now that he's got his limbs back. And yeah, we're just going to be schmoovin' here for a little bit. So yeah, this is one of my favorite levels to run through just because the thing that's tricky is there's a lot of low ceilings, which can kind of impact the way that your speed is preserved via roll jumps. So there's like a lot of like really specific. Will you let me through, please? There we go. Okay. That was a little rude. Usually, I forgot to equip Safety Stabber there. I sometimes will use that there if they're in a really unlucky position. And you're going to see this fight here why this weapon upgrade is, like, routed in now. This is, like, just look how quickly these enemies go down. It's, like, actually insane. Yeah, they're just done. That fight used to take, like, 30 seconds with the old weapon route because we used to only use stabbing weapons. But with the multi-hit shockwave, it just crushes enemies. So this is we already have like the second most powerful hammer in the game DPS wise, and then we're also with the way the scav is routed, we're going to be able to get the most powerful one by the time we get to the final boss. So there's Cactus. I love Cactus. He's just if he was small he'd be just a little guy, but he's like a big guy and he's just like he is that guy.
It's a big little guy.
It's a big little guy.
Yeah.
Also one of my favorite roll jumps because you just go flying into the cutscene. All right, so actually, I'm gonna go a bit more towards like the center of the arena. There's a couple of different enemy types, and the one that like shoots the okay, he spawned in good. Sometimes like I've been having issues with him spawning in properly, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't too close to the left because that seemed to be the thing that was causing that, right? So we got a little bit of a wait here while we wait for him to summon the next wave of enemies, which is gonna go by even faster. And then after that, I'm going to be setting up for a couple of sticky wed zips that are really, really annoying because not only do I need to have a very specific camera angle to get them to work, but I also, all right, I'm just going to, oh, he died. Okay, cool. I also need to aim my cursor on a specific portion of the grapple point to get it to work. So I'm going to lock in here for a second. The first one isn't as bad, but the second one is kind of nightmarish. So yeah, you can see it all the way up there. Okay, that one was pretty good. And got the cancel, nice. And then I need to go all the way to like the back corner without falling off and then aim for the top right. Perfect, okay, nice. And so the reason we do it like that is we avoid a trigger that spawns some scorpions in both of these hallways, so we just get free roll jump movement here. So we're just going to, oh, that got right in the way of the camera, thank you, game. All right, and then, again, because the enemies are despawned, this lets us go for some movement lines that you wouldn't normally go for otherwise, and it allows you to kind of just avoid worrying about the safety stabber a little bit. And so we're going to grapple. Sometimes you, like, also press it multiple times just to ensure that the game mechanic actually does what it says on the tin. And if you press, like, B again, it retracts the grapple. So if you got the grapple and then mash, like, you're just doomed, and it's really annoying, so... All right, there we go. That's Giants of the Inner Sanctum. That's the word. I like blanked on the word inner.
I was about to say Hidden Temple.
Giants of the Hidden Temple. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So we have like banger levels like for the rest of the game here. So this is Log Village Villainy. This is another level that's changed slightly because we no longer get a piece of scavenged material that would give us what's I forget, the name of the weapon's really funny, but it's essentially an engagement ring on a stick, which is awesome. But this also has some of the trickiest like roll jump. This is probably movement-wise the hardest level in the run, just because like you need to have really good roll jumps in order to not get completely destroyed sometime. And there's a skip we're going to be doing later that requires a really solid roll jump to pull off. There's a good backup that you can go for if you don't get like the I almost said lore accurate, like the intended amount of distance. Also, holy crap, that lag, yeah. That happens there every time, and it makes me laugh. So we're going to be climbing to the top of this section here after going across the lily pads, and then I'm going to be attempting to do a roll jump towards a leaf that's going to let me jump up to the top, which is normally like this really long like platform cycle auto-scroller segment. Okay, so that roll jump was really good, so we're going to catch the leaf. We're not out of the woods yet, because there's going to be some wasps that are going to follow us. And you can already see them right there, but I got the rollout. Nice, first try, okay.
Nice.
That's genuinely really hard, so. And then the game's going to lag here a bit as well. The lag on, I think I mentioned this earlier, but the lag on the Wii version is like genuinely super frustrating when you're trying to do the roll jump movement. And so, like, being on Wii U, especially in this level, is so nice. All right, so coming up, we have one of the most annoying hallways to get through in the game, because there are these worm fellows that stick out of the wall when you're trying to, yeah, I saw you in the corner of my, I get jump scared there. Oh, thank you, game. So the angle you get sent at, there's like an auto aim mechanic, kind of, with this game where it tries to help you by like making your jump attacks home in on enemies, and that one actually homed in on an enemy that it shouldn't have, which gave me an upward angle. Game? There we go. Okay. There was just a really awkward corner I got stuck in there, so I'm going to just... So I'm actually kind of okay with tanking hits here because of the way that the turtle boss at the end of this section works. So we're just going to go over here and then avoid that one. So I'm about half health, which is pretty much where you want to be. You want to be low health, but you don't want to be too low because otherwise you get like terrified because it's like one hit will kill you. We need to make use of our Spore abilities pretty frequently in the turtle fight coming up, and that requires a lot of juice. And because the enemies are the wasps, and like those are the ones you're intended to kill in order to get that Spore energy back, it is often just better to like die and reload to get a full bar instead. Because it's a little more efficient that way too, I believe, because you get like a full bar as opposed to like a couple from like an enemy kill or something like that. So there's a couple little platform skips in here, but pretty much like once we get into the fight proper, I'm gonna kind of focus like because again it's like all based on those pointer controls. Okay, there we go. Okay, I saved it.
6 save.
There we go, and then we should be good. I'm supposed to go here first, I think. Nope, I was wrong. But I saved it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so again, if you like bonk on something the wrong way while you're roll jumping, or like while you're hovering, you just get shot like a rock. You just drop like a rock. That's the phrase.
Yeah.
And so as a result, like you have to be really careful. Okay, so Turtle, the way he works is he has all these infection points that we need to clear up by using the Will of the Spore. And there are enemies that are trying to bother us, and as well as just, again, the hitboxes are really rough here for some of these. There we go. And so it's going to alternate between his legs and his head, and the head is by far the most annoying part because he, like, shakes it around a lot, and it's really annoying to grab. Okay, perfect. So I used the last little bit of my charge there, and then a wasp killed me, which is going to give me a very quick refresh of all that resource. This is also kind of an innovation that Dark Teryx has been going for more recently. Oh, did I get both? No. Oh, but it's spent too, so that's really rude. Yeah, see how he like shakes his head like that? Imagine trying to like aim your Wii pointer controls on that. Yeah, so I'm gonna. The other thing is like just when you want like the wasp to like actually give you juice, they are never there. But as soon as you don't need the juice, like they are like all up in your business, and it's really frustrating.
Would you say they don't leave you mushroom for error? Exactly.
That was way too enthusiastic of a response. Like, like if you're a punhead, like valid, but like, I don't know. All right, so it's a little bit slower, I think, here, just like vibes-wise to take the death. So we're going to get that second orb there. Luckily, the same thing that heals us is also the thing that refills our like stamina meter. There we go. That was actually a decent turtle fight. That can go really, really wrong really, really quickly. So I will take that in a marathon setting. He's a really cute turtle, though, once you clear up his sinus infection.
Oh,
but
yeah. Friend.
Yeah, I get that mad when I have a stuffed nose, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is maybe my favorite level in the game, the trailer. This is probably like where the Chibi Robo comparison comes in the most, because it's just this really crusty, filthy trailer level that's like very open-ended, many different paths to like get around and go do different things.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that this first part of the trailer is set up is that we need to go get pieces of scav in order to build a bottle rocket to get to the second half of the level. And then from there, it's just more schmoving to get to the final boss. So they're going to be in these taller scav boxes instead. And these also just have some really cool roll jump movement as well. And then there's going to be a cool skip that we're going to go for. So there's going to be kind of like, like a workshop equipment board, like one of those pegboards that you can manipulate the items with Spore Kinesis. So what I'm going to do is instead of doing the puzzle as intended, I'm going to get up here and then jump and Spore Kinesis at the same time to like get all the way up to the top and skip all of that. So That's like one where if you don't know that you just press the 2 buttons at the same time, it's impossible. But once someone tells you that trick, it's like pretty straightforward. And so now we're going to head up this elevator that's going to take us into the kitchen. There's a couple more pieces here. We're also going to be kind of at the end of the level, like cleaning up to pick up some more scav pieces. We already have 1/3 of the Triforce for the most powerful weapon in the game, which is the final hammer upgrade. But there's 2 more pieces of scav that are required for it that are in the trailer level. So. All right, so you have to get that grapple in particular really quickly because there's a cockroach that spawns, and similar to some of the other ones, he will just like ruin your life and make it impossible to get the grapple if you take too long. All right, so we're gonna get that piece of scav, which triggers like a required fight. So we're gonna just Spore Kinesis a drill to turn it on, and he's gonna go ah, and then we're just going to like Thanos snap him. So we're just gonna, and he's done. Also, another thing you might have seen here and there is that if you like press jump, like as you're about to hit like a trigger for like something that causes Pax to do the animation, he just goes like flying into the air. You can't move during it, so it doesn't end up like being used. Nice game. That happens there sometimes. So we need to go down there to pick up that piece of scav. That's part of the new route, and then we're going to hit that switch to send us up here. Yeah, I don't know. I just think the vibes in this level are so sick. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
And then we're going to go up here. This is going to take us to, I believe, the last piece of the bottle rocket. Did I? No, I think I have all the pieces, right? Yeah, no, I definitely have all the pieces. Okay. I was, like, tripping for a second. And then there's that last one, so we're going to go ahead and
That'll
make
happen
it.
with mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there we go. This is going to take us to the second part of the level. I'm going to try to do a roll jump to skip a Will-O-the-Spore platform right here. Should be fine. And then this is the trickier one of those kinds of jumps. And then whenever you Will-O-the-Spore... Oh, that's really unlucky. I accidentally buffered a hammer attack there. But the idea there is that whenever you use Will-O-the-Spore while mid-air... Yeah, this is going to get a little annoying now. But whenever you use Will-O-the-Spore mid-air, it actually keeps you like in a standstill for a little bit mid-air. It like freezes your movement mid-air. And you can actually use that to leverage the platform to like bounce you up, and it's really helpful there. But I got it. I just unfortunately buffered a hammer swing because, again, the motion and pointer controls are just super touchy in this game. Like, this isn't even a Wii Motion Plus game, and they're like super like overactive. Like, they are overeager. Also, this is the worst lag in the game. Yeah, it just gets super choppy over there by the fan. At least in the speedrun that we see. And that's going to be in the end of the trailer. That was a pretty clean trailer. And now we're going to be heading into the final boss now. So the first bit of the final boss here doesn't have too much going on. So if our host would like to know us how that, let us know how that bid or that donation incentive is going, that would be a great time.
Yeah, we are doing pretty well for the donation incentive. We have 2 more donations to read here from Sex Rex, $7. Let's go, Jaxler. Baby loved a Jaxler. And we also have $5 from Martin with a Y. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your donations, everybody. So this boss level in particular has my favorite level name in video game history. It is called Robot Wife. Like, it is just called Robot Wife, and it's exactly what it says on the tin. Because we are going to be doing the final boss fight on top of, you guessed it, Robot Wife. And so I'm taking that really safe there. That foot hitbox is the worst. And so this is Pester. He's part of like the Lepiota tribe, but he basically like authoritarianly took control of his own species in order to like basically like enslave other species. It's pretty messed up. So we're going to deal with him, all because he wants a robot wife. So he's basically Plankton, if you think about it.
True.
And you, like, squint, like, to the point where, like, it's not even letting light in, you know. All right, so the way this first phase works is there will be some waves of enemies, but we need to grab a rock out of midair and then fling it back at him. These first couple, he'll only send one of these. But on subsequent ones, he can send multiple. And if you get... Oh, there's one left. Okay. I was like, why is there no... Where Rock? Oh, there's Rock. Okay. Yeah, this guy basically plays Crag in Rivals 2.
True.
Yeah, also... Oh! I can't believe the game gave me that. That is crazy.
Wild.
Not only did it give me the the pointer control thing, it also just sent it anyway, which is hilarious. So took a death there, unfortunately, but that's like the best place I could have taken a death because the rocks will actually damage the enemies too, and it'll basically get me through there with iframes. Because I gotta be really careful here. Get that health pick up. Okay, we should be fine now. There we go, and then almost got that picked up. But yeah. In these later phases, he sends 3. If you're an absolute god gamer, you can get one of the later rocks. It collided with the 3rd rock. That's really annoying. Sometimes that happens. So I'm like trying to do a sidearm shot with it so that doesn't happen. But sometimes the game is just mean. It's also random which platform that Pester goes to here. So you kind of have to watch that trail to where he teleports in order to see where that ends up. Yeah, so no double rocks, unfortunately, this run. That's fine. Not even, I think world record hits him. So then we're going to suck him into the robot wife, just like that. And then we're going to hit these. And then with our fully upgraded weapon, it's only going to, come on, game. There we go. It's only going to take 8 hits in order to put him in Cursplosion range. And then, sometimes this happens where he's supposed to jump to that platform, but he, hits a piece of collision, so he just bye-byes. All right, and so time is going to be when the final explosion pops. So get ready on time. All right, get ready, and time. All right. All right, that's a 50-14, not too bad. Yeah, this game can kind of throw all sorts of stuff at you, but I will take 10 minutes under estimate. So yeah, his punishment for making Robot Wife is getting eaten by Alien Chihuahua. Because
naturally,
of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Mushroom and the Spore Wars. I hope this provided a great primer on mushrooms, men, and also mushroom men. Thank you, Shasta and Wojo, for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed partaking in this.
It was fun, guys, and fun time.
Fun guys, fun time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to get plugs out of the way real quick, I'm Jaxler. You can find me at twitch.tv/Jaxler1. I specialize in games like this that people might not know, are pretty underrated, but are fire, right? That's kind of my whole gimmick. And then so twitch.tv/Jaxler1, Jaxler SR pretty much everywhere else. And then if you two want to give shout outs as well.
Yeah, I'm Shasta. I'm running Kirby Super Ultra later in the day, so check that out.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm Mojo. I'm running Slap City later today.
Yeah.
Also very cool.
Yeah. One last shout out I want to give to, I've mentioned him a couple times, Dark Terex. Not only is he the world record holder and made this route that you just saw happen, but also he has just been the forefront of a lot of the discoveries in this game. So I'm going to give him a huge shout out. Taught me a lot of the stuff as well. So much love, homie. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We have a banger schedule lined up for your Saturday today. Make sure you stay tuned. Thank you all so much. Take it easy.